Well, it's time to get your plant and gardening questions answered live.
The number to call, 270-9933. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is bundled up out on the patio. Good to see you, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Good to see you guys, too.
We got lots of calls as usual. We'll start with Lorraine from Wanakee. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi there.
What's your question?
Because my butterfly bushes are blooming again and have flowers, when should the butterfly bushes and the honeysuckle plant be pruned back after we have some real hard frost or in the spring?
As long as your butterfly bushes are blooming, I would just let them go until they're done flowering, and then you can cut them back. Leave a little bit of stubble so you remember where they are, because as you know, they're very slow to emerge in the spring. As far as your honeysuckles, I would wait and cut them back in the spring after you see what's died back. Wait till they start to bud out and cut back anything that's dead.
Okay.
All right, thank you for calling. Let's go to Julie in Madison. Hi, Julie, what's your question?
Hi, I was just wondering about overwintering bulbs that I've dug up. I mean, like my elephant ear and canna lilies, and I'm just, I don't have a cool place in my house to store them. What should I do with those?
Well, they do need to be around 50, 55 degrees. So if you have a garage that's unheated, that's too cold for them.
Right.
So in your basement, mostly what they need is just a dry, airy, dark space. Doesn't necessarily have to be cold storage for those kinds of summer blooming bulbs like gladiola, elephant ears, begonias, that kind of thing. You just want to keep them dry, and then I would check them every couple of weeks, because if you do get a little dampness in there and some mold starts, that can take off pretty quickly and can damage the bulbs. So just, on a regular basis, check them out. But they should be fine as long as it's dry and airy.
Okay, thanks for the call. Let's go to Jim in Madison. Hi, Jim, what's your question?
Hi, a few years ago, I cut back my dwarf lilac, and then the next year it didn't bloom again. So I was wondering, what's the best time of year to trim that back?
Lilacs are a plant that sets its flower buds for the following year soon after it's done flowering on the current year's growth. So if you prune them, I would say for lilacs past maybe the end of July, you run the risk of cutting back your flowers for the following year. So the best time to do it is right after they're done flowering.
Okay. Oh, I love lilacs. I don't think I've ever seen a dwarf lilac. That sounds really pretty. Okay, Laura from Middleton. You're next. Hi there. What's your question?
My question is, I've got some lavender bushes that I bought at the Bruce Company.
Okay.
This is the first year I've had them, and they are just huge now. They're almost as high as my fence.
Oh, my goodness.
So, what I want to know is, what do I do with them? I've never had them before. Do I cut them down to the ground, or just cut off a little bit, or not mess with them at all?
I would not mess with them at all. Lilac bushes in our climate are a little bit on the borderline. They like really good drainage, so make sure that they're not in a place where you have late snow melt. I would maybe put down, if they're not mulched, I would go ahead and mulch the area, and then just wait until the spring, and then you can see what's died back and clean them up then. But just leave them for now.
Okay, they're beautiful.
All right, let's
Thanks
go to
for calling.
Louise from Monroe. Hi, Louise. You there?
My question is, I have, I guess you'd call them fall raspberries that are still got some on the stems coming up already. I mean, ripening up. They haven't totally froze up, but I want to know, how far do I cut them down when they once quit blooming or get froze really hard?
The fall or ever blooming raspberries are the easiest ones to take care of. So when they're done flowering, either this fall or maybe very early in the spring or late next winter, cut the whole patch back to 1 inch or 2, and then the new growth will come up and give you fruit again next year.
Okay. Let's go to Marge now in Fort Atkinson. Hi, Marge. What's your question?
Yes, I have an orchid that I was given, and it's really big. It has 3 big, beautiful stems coming out, just full of blossoms. And I'm wondering, do they need repotted? I have all these, like, stems coming out, and I didn't know if with so many flowers if 3 ice cubes a week were enough.
Okay, so I'm first going to debunk the ice cube watering myth. That is not our favorite way to water orchids. The best thing to do is put them in your sink once a week and water them thoroughly, let them drain, and then put them back in their decorative pots. The ice cube thing, I know Martha Stewart likes it, but we're not fans. As far as the plants are concerned, those sort of weird little stemmy things that are coming out, those are aerial roots, because in the wild, lilacs grow in trees. They don't grow in dirt. So you can just leave those alone. As the stems flower and bloom, and when it's done, you'll see a little bump in the stem as you follow past, below the flower. If you cut just above that little node, sometimes you'll get a second reflowering spike from that point. When that's done, just cut them back. A good soak once a week, bright eastern window, but not direct sunlight for the winter, and maybe you'll get flowers again next spring. You'll get new spikes.
Why are you not a fan of that for orchids?
I just don't think that it's very reliable. I mean, orchids, the rooting material is usually bark, sometimes moss. It's good to just soak it and then let it dry out, and soak it and let it dry out. Those lilac roots, or not lilacs, orchid roots don't like to be wet. They're meant to be in the air.
All right.
All right, now you have it. There you know.
There you go.
We are out of time. Thank you all for calling in. Lisa, thanks for bundling up in the backyard.
Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome. Good to see you guys.
With all the cats.
Looks great back there.
We'll see you next time.